Hi, this is Kelly from 1-2 Plus Me and You, and I'm going to be making a superhero banner for my son's birthday party. First off, I had to get some comics, so I just picked random superheroes. It's, you know, this one's Batman. It's kind of hard to see, but that's Batman. And I have Fantastic Four, Avengers, all different kinds. And I just found ones that had some good pictures to them, some good color. And what I did was I took the pages out, like so. Just took them right out of the book. And then I put them down here on my paper. And this is a cutting board for quilting. I don't quilt, but I sew. And I'm going to actually be sewing this. You don't have to sew it. You could use glue. You could do a bunch of different things, I'm sure, but I like to sew, so I'm just going to use my sewing machine. So what I did was I took this and I cut. This is really the size that it is at the top, and then I lined this up with my cutting board so that way a little bit, see this, hangs off each side. So this is actually 6.5 inches across the top, but there's it hangs over the line about 1/4 and 1/4 on this side. So there's 6 inches in the middle, 1/4 and 1/4 on each side. And so line that back up. And then really what you would do is you would cut at a diagonal line all the way down to the middle. So again, you know, count 3 in, count 3 in, and then you would cut a diagonal line here. And I would recommend using a ruler. I have a rotary cutter, so it is a cutter on wheels, and so that was a lot easier. But what you could really do is just take a ruler, line it up, even the edge of the book, line it up, take a marker and go down, and then do the same thing on this side and a marker and go down, and there you go. You have your triangle. Make sure you have about, I don't know, 4 inches on each side, and then start there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to measure this about 4 inches, and then with the double fold bias tape you open it up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide this inside, and once I do that I'll pin it. But again, if you're just using ribbon, you could just put a little bit of glue and then just pat it down, and you would be done in no time. And yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and put all my pieces in there and fold it. So what I ended up doing is I cut out 12 of these. 12 of these with 6.5 inches across the top is a good size banner. And it worked out perfectly for what I wanted to do with it, and I'll show you more here in just a second. You can get this at a craft store if you want to sew it. This is 3 yards of double fold bias tape, extra wide if you can't read that. And I just picked blue because blue, I have a light blue and a dark blue. It just kind of goes with the theme. You could pick red or gold. To me, those 3 colors come out a lot in a lot of the superheroes, but it's completely up to you. And this is what I'm going to be using. Again, you could use ribbon, and the ribbon could be 3 yards. And really you could glue the top of, if you don't sew, glue the top of this to the ribbon. Okay, so I tried to adjust myself here so you're not in the shadow seeing everything, but actually instead of 4 inches I measured about maybe 3.5 inches, and then I went ahead and again opened this up because this is the double fold, so it opens up, and then I just slid this triangle inside, and then I pinned it at the top in 2 different places. So then again, I actually measured it by with my fingers. I don't know why I did that, but to me it just worked out. It actually really did work out. So let's see. I had it about here to here. So yeah, that's actually 2 inches. So then you want to measure from this top corner to the corner of the next one, 2 inches. And then again, you'll open it up, put it in, and pin. And once you've done that with all of them, then you're ready for the next step. Like I said, if you're sewing, if you are not going to do the sewing method and you're going to glue them, then instead of the pinning, you would put some glue at the top, and then you would have your ribbon the same length. And this is a good, I don't know, 1/4 inch ribbon, so that's a good size for the top. And then you would just pat it down and then move it over, put the next one down, do the next glue, and then make sure you're measuring that 2 inches, and then put it there and then pat it down and then move it around. Move it down and keep going. You would want to make sure that it's straight because the glue would still be wet. You wouldn't want to mess it up. With me, I kind of want this to be straight because this is paper. You don't want to rip this either, so you want to be really careful with what you're doing. But then just keep going with the same process. When you are done with gluing all of your ribbon, then you're done. Unless you'd like to put a message on your banner, which is what I'm going to be doing. But I'm going to go through and pin mine, and then I'll sew it. So I will hopefully show you the sewing here. Okay, so I have it all pinned, and now I am ready to sew. And of course, when you're sewing, you want to make sure that your thread, it's always fuzzy, matches what you're going to be sewing. So I have this, and then my bobbin. So I'm going to get that started, and then I'll pick it up and show you what's going on next. Okay, so here I am about to sew, and I'm really going to sew straight down the middle of this because I want to get a good grasp of where this paper is, and it should be all the way to the edge. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to sew right down the middle, but I'm going to start at the very edge of it just so it's, you know, consistent and this doesn't come apart or whatever. I mean, it wouldn't, it'd be fine, but that's what I'm going to do. So just going to, and it's just straight. I'm just doing a straight one. I'm not doing anything fancy with zigzags or whatever. And then I'm going to keep doing that all the way down. One thing I just want to mention, as I approach a pin, I will pull it out, and I will go slowly with this. That's kind of common knowledge, but this could be the very first thing you're sewing if you decide to sew. Don't feel crazy about it. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. I know for me, I love to sew, but I don't make any clothes. I make things like this. So I make things for my kids, you know, little things that if I make a mistake, a slight little mistake in it, it's not very noticeable. So don't worry too much about that. But go slowly because, again, you are sewing into paper. You want to make sure that there aren't any snags or tears, but this should be just fine because, again, this is double folded bias tape, so I think that also allows a little bit of security when sewing through. And making sure that it stays attached to this fabric, which is called bias tape. Alright, I'm done sewing, so this is the finished product. And again, if you want to have a look, it's horrible how zoomed I can't get, but here you can see the sewed line, and you can just see the indent because the color of the thread is the color of the material, so nothing sticks out there. And it, again, what I did on my other one, and I'll get that one and show you. Okay, so here's the second one. Again, relatively identical to the one I just made. It just has a darker color blue bias tape there, you can see, compared to this lighter blue one. And what I did was, you can see it says super, and then I have a Batman symbol, which I just found online and printed it off and used that as a stencil, and took some yellow cardstock paper, which you can get at the craft store in a big bundle for, I don't know, find it on sale, get a coupon, a few bucks. And then I ended up putting that cardstock into my Cricut, this thing here. If you have a Cricut, you know what I'm talking about. This is an awesome machine. This is a paper cutter. And I ended up using the Cutting Up cartridge. I ended up using Shift Shadow. So if you've got a Cricut and you want to, fantastic. Otherwise, you can just, maybe you could find a cute stencil online or some cute words online, print them off, and then use it as a stencil, and then just trace it onto yellow cardstock and cut it out. But I used my Cricut. So 2.5 inches on the cutting up cartridge, and cut out Super Andrew, which is my son's name. And then I attached this to the wall with push pins. I actually use push pins in my walls. I don't see any problems with it, but that's how I get it to stay up. So I put one on one side and one on the other. And the Super Andrew one is going to go in my son's room. So we're going to be recycling it, if you will. And he loves it. He wants to keep it. So we're the winner all around with that. We're going to put it in his room. And then the top one is going to a friend. If you know people who read comic books, you can get the comic books from them, so you don't actually have to buy it. The bias tape may cost a couple bucks, but really it's a pretty inexpensive banner. If you are hoping to do a personalized banner instead of going onto Etsy and spending some cash, I would rather make it myself, and I would rather share what I know with other people. I saw pictures of homemade banners online, and I thought, I want to do that, but I couldn't find a tutorial, so I thought, well, I think I can figure this out. And so here it is. So I hope you are able to find something for your little one's birthday party. I mean, this is just really thin paper. I think if you even had wrapping paper that was Hello Kitty or My Little Pony or something that you wanted to make a banner out of, but you can't find that banner anywhere, don't spend a lot of money online. Just, cut it 6.5 inches at the top, bring it to center, make a triangle, and make 12 of them. There you go. Same steps as what we went through, and you've got yourself a banner. So good luck, and happy birthday.